Welcome to Just Add Power's technical support video series. These videos are designed to help you install and troubleshoot your Just Add Power system. In this topic, we're going to cover DeBrick and how to use it to recover a Just Add Power device. DeBrick was developed by Just Add Software to recover 2G, 2G Omega, and 3G Just Add Power devices who have had their firmware update interrupted. The best way you can identify if your unit had a firmware disruption is by checking the power and data LEDs on the front. A healthy unit will have a solid power and a blinking or solid data light. A unit suffering from a boot loop state will have a constant heartbeat power light with no data light. This will repeat indefinitely until power is removed. A unit suffering from a no boot state will have no power or data LEDs, but may have interior lights visible. If you suspect your device is experiencing either a boot loop or a no boot state, there is a good chance DeBrick will recover your device. Before we can get started, DeBrick has a few hardware requirements needed in order to run the software. The first requirement you'll need is a serial cable. The serial cable needs to have a DB9 on one end and a 3-pin mullux on the other. The second requirement you'll need is a PC with a serial port or a USB to serial adapter if you don't have one. The third requirement you'll need is a Cat5e or greater network wire. And the last requirement you need is a power supply. For 2G devices, you'll need a power supply that will output at 5 volts using 2 amps or greater. For 3G or 2G 3G Omega devices, you'll need a power supply between 5 to 23 volts using 2 amps or greater. The idea is that we need at least 10 watts to power the unit. If you aren't sure if the power supply you have will output at least 10 watts, use the formula volts times amps equals watts to find out if your power supply will meet our requirements. There are 3 steps in order to get DeBrick started. The first step is to connect your category cable from your PC to the network port of the Just Add Power device. The second step is to connect your serial cable directly from your PC or using the USB to serial adapter to attach the 3-pin mullux to the white port on the bottom of the unit. The last step is to leave the power supply disconnected until I've instructed you to do so. Now that we got the physical connections out of the way, I'm going to show you what it looks like to run DeBrick from beginning to end. Go ahead and open up DeBrick. DeBrick works like a checklist. You start at the top by selecting the model type. You follow each step as it prompts you, and by the end, it's going to ask you to begin the recovery process. Once you selected your model, the next step is to select the serial port to be used by DeBrick. The best way to identify your serial port is by opening your device manager. Under ports, your device manager will have a communication port labeled next to the serial adapter. My PC has a native serial port and a USB to serial adapter. For this example, I'm going to use COM3, and it's okay if your COM number is different from mine. Once you select your COM number, a notification will appear that's going to ask us to remove power from the Just Add Power device. If you have connected power to your device, please remove power now. Once you select your COM number, a notification will appear that's going to ask us to remove power from the Just Add Power device. Once power has been removed, please click OK to continue. The next step will appear, and at this point, if you haven't already, please connect the serial cable attached from your PC to the white 3-pin mullux port on the bottom of the device. Once you've connected the serial cable from your PC to the device, check the box to confirm the next step. A new notification will appear asking you to connect the power supply to the device. Once you connect power to the Just Add Power device, you should see a green bar appear under RS-232 connection established. If this green bar does not appear, please repeat the steps over again. Check to make sure you have the correct COM number listed in your device manager, or confirm the serial cable you're using has the correct pin out. Click OK to continue. When we do, DeBrick is going to ask you to confirm your PC is connected to the Just Add Power device using an Ethernet cable. If you don't have a native Ethernet port on your PC, you could use a USB to Ethernet adapter, or you can connect the device to an open data port on your local switch. But for our purposes, we have the device directly connected to my PC via Ethernet. Once you have your Ethernet connected, go ahead and check the box to move on to the next step. A new notification will appear asking us to select an Ethernet device. Click OK and choose your Ethernet adapter from the drop list. If nothing appears in this dropdown, please confirm your Ethernet is active under the Windows Network and Sharing Center and ensure it has an established connection. Once you've selected your Ethernet adapter, you're now going to go ahead and check the Begin Recovery Process box. This is going to take some time, so I'm going to go ahead and speed it up from here. Before clicking OK, please make sure that we do not close or interrupt DeBrick at any point. If we do, there's a chance the Just Add Power device will not be recoverable. Once the recovery firmware has successfully loaded onto your device, a notification will appear letting you know the Just Add Power device will reboot before prompting you to update the device to the firmware version of your choosing. Click OK to continue. Alright, so sometimes DeBrick can come across a problem where after the Just Add Power device finishes rebooting, the program is unable to continue. This doesn't mean the Just Add Power device isn't in a recovered state. We can double check if the unit has recovered by checking the front LEDs showing a solid power and a blinking data light. If it does, you can go ahead and close the program at this point to run jadconfig's configure a device option. This will finish up the recovery process. If DeBrick did give you the option to choose your operational firmware, then select the appropriate firmware that matches your existing Just Add Power system. With that said, you may come across one other issue when running DeBrick. You may come across a TFTP transfer error as displayed on the right. If you do come across this problem, there are 4 steps to resolve this issue. First, disable any third-party firewall software that you may have on your PC. Second, navigate to Windows Defender Firewall and allow DeBrick on both public and private networks. Once you've done that, then disable both public and private networks under the Windows Defender Firewall settings. When complete, rerun DeBrick and you should overcome this issue. This concludes our video tutorial on how to run DeBrick. Thank you for joining us for this session of our technical support video series. You can find more of these videos at support.justaddpower.com.